I seriously thought we were over this whole thing. I thought, wow, they've proved themselves. They're only on their way up. They can't come down. I mean, eventually they will come down, but like, there's no possible way that it's just gonna happen again, right? And then it happened again. If you've been living under a rock or just stayed off of Twitter for like the last week, you might have missed the fact that everyone hates aespa again. Isn't that a shocker? Because I thought after the spicy drama Supernova Armageddon Whiplash run that, like maybe they would have a controversy here and there because, they have. But I mean, like, people aren't just gonna try to say that they're untalented again, right? Oh. There are many things along the road that are to blame for why we are here right now. But before Mize attack me in the comments and before antis get too comfortable, I am not blaming aespa. Let me get my thoughts out. Like I said earlier, this has been building up for a little bit now, but what really put the nail in the coffin was that Good Morning America performance, because I'm not gonna lie, it was not good, okay? I'm not gonna pretend to say that, antis are being dramatic here, because it very much was a lackluster performance. They were lip syncing and it just looked weird. They just looked off. So honestly, it's like, yeah, with all the stuff that's been going on, no wonder antis and bored bandwagon stans took this and ran with it. But what pissed me off about those antis is that they were saying stuff like, oh, well, they're not taking their job seriously enough and they're really only relying on their pretty faces to get by, huh? And then I'm seeing other comments saying their talent is too low for the fame they have. Are we really talking about the same group that we've been complimenting for the last 2 years? A group that since debut has been praised for their powerful vocals and then grew and worked on their stage presence and dancing and were praised for that too. How are people still questioning their skills when they are regularly posting dance practices and releasing behind the scenes of recording their songs? I don't think you realize that you can't just fake that shit. Also, let's look at the show that they were performing on. In the K-pop fandom, Good Morning America is not known for their performances or even interviews. Most of the time, fans don't even give a fuck and make fun of those performances. But all of a sudden, once aespa finally has a quote-unquote bad performance, it's the equivalent to a mama stage. Like, there are multiple factors that made this performance bad, and none of it was aespa's fault. I really doubt that them lip-syncing was their choice, because we have seen them perform in the past, and these girls are not afraid to perform live. That has never been an issue unless SM makes it an issue. And then when people are trying to say, well, they're not executing the choreography well enough, well, then SM should give them good choreography so they can actually execute it well. I don't know what else to tell you. Mice have been very aware of the fact that the choreography was extremely underwhelming since the day Rich Man was released. There was a TikTok posted right after the music video was released that showed the choreography, and it was flooded with negative comments. That video now has 12 million views from the amount of negative interactions it has, which is 7 million more than the average that aespa gets on a TikTok. The factor that everyone else is failing to consider as well is the fact that aespa's choreography heavily relies on backup dancers these days. So when they're not there, you're gonna notice. And when you pair that with a small group and a huge stage, that is a recipe for disaster. And while we have all this going on, we also have Karina being singled out and being called the weakest main dancer in K-pop. People are calling her stiff and having no real character when she dances, commenting on how they can see that she was trained and that she's capable, but overall is a bland performer and adds nothing really special to the choreography like a main dancer should. I'm not gonna say that Karina is just the best dancer ever and everyone else sucks, because that's not true. I know that's not true. And I'm not a dancer, so I don't really have the experience to say that. But I also know that the people who are sharing their opinions harshly aren't dancers either. So I just want to talk to them for a little bit. You guys are acting as if it's not possible that some choreographies just don't suit or highlight some idol strengths as much as others do. My uneducated simpleton opinion is that instead of it feeling very natural, the training that Karina has done has made her style make every move calculated and strategic. Some people view this as a negative, but personally, depending on the choreography, I really see where she shines and where she doesn't. It reminds me a lot of Ives Gowl, where at their debut, a lot of fans were questioning her position and why she was named main dancer when she was very stiff. But as we have seen her over the years, when you show her dancing in a style that she's most comfortable in, she shines. And it's the same exact situation with Karina. People are starting to think that this is the beginning of the end for them, with a lot of people calling them the next
ITZY. And I know I said this at the beginning of the video, but that is just so interesting to hear now after the run that they've had for the last 2 years. And I also think we just need to stop talking about ITZY that way, because it's not like they suffered some horrible fate. They're still doing well for themselves, but that's another video for a different day. I'm not just talking about this because they're my ults, but also because I'm aware that, unfortunately, yeah, sometimes my faves are gonna have flop eras. Does that mean that they're gonna be stuck in that dark hole forever? No. Look at aespa's history. If you asked someone back then if they thought that aespa could pull themselves out, everyone would have said no. No one believed in them. But with their skills that they already had, they put in the work and they got better and impressed everyone. So it's incredibly disappointing that one performance can overtake years of their work, but I don't doubt that they can come back from this. But that's not up to the girls, it's up to how SM wants to manage them. Do I kind of have a working theory that this is the SM sabotage to keep them smaller than the SM brand? Absolutely. But in order to not come across as a psycho stan, I gotta let that go for today. Also because I happen to have a more reasonable explanation as well. I think with every comeback since Spicy, SM kept on seeing more and more success to the point that they did not want to let that go and are trying to keep that momentum because they are scared to break the streak of success. It really does remind me of how JYP was promoting Twice in 2018. But just like Twice, there was a moment where it completely backfired and made everyone tired of them. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. Not only are the girls probably extremely exhausted, but so are fans of having a comeback every 2 months, especially when we're starting to notice the company prioritize sales over the quality of the content. Because why the fuck is SM selling an $100 ring for a single album? Moral of the story, SM is getting greedy and aespa's public image is the one paying for it.